See how I packed my bags and leave the country instead of killing someone? Very mindful, very demure. I'm not like you other girls.
Hey everyone, today we're going to watch a series of video about Americans living in the US to start a new life elsewhere. And we hear the stories from different perspectives from many people in the US and to share their true experience by starting over in another country. So now let's get started.
My husband and I were sitting on the porch this morning and we were just discussing the culture in the United States and how there's always this undercurrent of like violence and hostility, and it's everywhere all the time, and you feel very vulnerable to it, and sometimes you don't really even know you're feeling it, but it's there. And I asked him, when you go to a movie theater, do you assess who's in the room and who might be a threat and who might be hiding something in their coat, and like what you would do if they just like stood up and started shooting? Like, how are you going to get out of the room? How are you going to keep our boys safe? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I said, I do too. We never talked about that openly. And we both agreed, like, we do it all the time. We're at the grocery store, at a concert, at church, at our kids' school. What if who among these people is a threat? And what would we do if they stood up and started to do something? How would we get out of here? How would we protect our kids and ourselves? That is always in our minds. And I don't think we realize the mental toll and the physical toll that takes on us to always be doing those mental calculations. And then not only that, but the culture in the US is such that you're always feeling like someone is trying to get one over on you or like use you somehow. There's always this sense of like you're competing. You're not helping each other. You're not supporting each other. You're competing with each other. And that person is not, he's your enemy. He's your neighbor, but he's also your enemy. Like you try to make sure that he doesn't mow on your side of the lawn too much, because that's yours. That's your property. He's trying to take it from you. There's this sense of like, it's real like selfishness and self-centeredness, and gotta get mine and keep mine and not let anyone else take mine. And I'm really looking forward not to feel that all the time. I don't think we realize that we're feeling it. We're not conscious of it all the time, but I really want to not feel it, you know? And I want to raise my sons not to think that way or have those sort of feelings or have to do those calculations in their head about like, how am I going to get out of this without getting shot? That's what I want. So that's why I am taking my two sons, who are 7 and 9, and my husband and myself to the other side of the world to get away from this place.
Americans are leaving. They're leaving this country in record numbers. But the amount of Americans that want to leave, that's got to be a new record in itself. 63% of Gen Z want to leave the United States. Their main reason being there is no economic future here. Okay, 68% of people in this country say that they are surviving rather than living. 52% of millennials also want to leave the United States. While Gen X and boomers want to stay put, only 25 and 26% of them respectively have any interest in leaving the United States. And while yes, there is a huge gap of people who want to leave and people who can leave and people who end up actually leaving, this is worrying, right? Who's going to be left in the country if all the young people want to go somewhere else? Where do these people want to go, you might ask? Well, the top 5 countries that they want to move to are Canada, the UK, Australia, France, and Italy. There is a tidal wave of people that want to leave this country. And I can't say that I blame them. Life here is hard. I'm not saying it's a bed of roses anywhere else, but here it just feels impossible. We're moving abroad next year, and we can't be more excited. If you're interested in what that looks like, stick around.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm an American staying in Malaysia with my family of 6. And today was our first experience with the healthcare systems here in Malaysia. Let's talk about it. So we had to take our 11-month-old son to the doctor today because we suspected that he had an ear infection. We obviously don't have an established pediatrician yet, so I started by just sending messages on WhatsApp to local pediatricians and clinics to see who was available to fit him in. Within an hour or so, we were able to find a pediatrician who was willing to see him, and so I went over to the hospital where the clinic was located and was able to meet with the doctor pretty much immediately. The hospital itself was very similar to hospitals in America, very clean, very large, definitely seemed encompassing, like it had everything you could possibly need all in one place, which was very helpful. So we went and met with the pediatrician. He looked at my son and determined that he did in fact have an ear infection as well as a respiratory infection, and he needed to refer him to the ENT to get his ears cleaned and to get prescriptions for ear drops, in addition to the prescriptions that the pediatrician was ordering for the respiratory infection and some acetaminophen for fevers. So the pediatrician sent in the referral to the ENT, who was able to see us also immediately. So we went downstairs to that clinic that was in the same hospital and was able to see the ENT within maybe 3 minutes of waiting. It's pretty unheard of to just text doctors in the United States and get a doctor, especially a pediatrician or an ENT specialist, to see you same day. That's not something that you would typically experience in the United States, regardless of if you had health insurance or not. The other really convenient thing is that the prescriptions were available in the same place that I already was. There was a pharmacy located at that same hospital, and by the time I made it to the pharmacy counter, they were already expecting me, had all of the medication ready to go, and explained it all over with me. The thing about this experience that was particularly different than going to a doctor's office in the United States was the amount of paperwork. From the moment I got to the hospital to the moment I left, I did not personally fill out a single piece of paper. I didn't sign anything. I did give our passport and our phone number and the address of where we were staying, but that was it. And then when I met with the pediatrician, he asked a couple of questions about like his medical history, but there was definitely no 20-page lengthy medical history form or 80,000 disclosures that you have to sign about all of the things you have to sign when you go to a pediatrician in America. So let's talk about the cost. We chose to do self-pay even though we have international health insurance, because the insurance plan that we have is really for like emergencies and larger medical expenses. So we decided to just pay out of pocket for this. And here is a breakdown of what we spent. The pediatrician consultation fee was 180 ringgits, which is about 45 US dollars. The ENT consultation was 95 ringgits. The procedure fee, and that's the procedure where they cleaned his ears, was 105 ringgits. So that's 200 ringgits total, and that's about 50 US dollars. They also charged equipment consumables. I'm assuming that's going to be like the tongue depressor thing and like the things that they use to check your ears, the things that they have to throw away that are one-time use. And that fee was 150 ringgits, which is a little bit more than I expected, but still nothing compared to the prices you'd be charged in the United States. With the 3 medications that we got, which were a total of 141 ringgits, it brought our grand total to 671 ringgits. To put this into context for my Malaysian friends, in the United States, an ENT consultation visit, if you were a self-pay patient, would be probably a minimum of $150, which is 600 ringgits by itself. And that's not including the procedure, that's not including the equipment cost, that's not including any medication, that's not including the pediatrician visit. That would be pretty much what you're spending for just getting in the door with that ENT, which again would not be minutes after the doctor called for a referral. You would have to wait. It would be very unlikely that at 4:45, when the ENT doctor is closing at 5, that they would fit you in the same day in the United States. So overall, we were very pleased with the quality of the medical care and of course the cost of the medical care at a private hospital here in Malaysia without any insurance.
3 stories, 3 people, but one thing in common. They are living in the US. The first person shares constant fear every time they step outside. They have to calculate how to protect themselves and their children if something were to happen. These mental scenarios repeat over and over again, and it slowly takes a toll, both mentally and physically. The second looks at the future. 60% of Gen Z and over half of millennials want to leave the US because they no longer see the clear path forward. Young people are searching for opportunities elsewhere, refusing to leave just to survive without hope or trust in tomorrow. And the third tells a real life experience about in Malaysia. Healthcare is simple, fast, and human. A doctor appointment can be very easy for you to make an appointment with him or her, and the hospital always ready for you and the costs are reasonable. It's something really impossible to experience in the US, even if you have the insurance. And by listening to these stories, you realize one thing: life outside the US isn't perfect, but in other places, people can find at least the peace, care, and opportunities to truly live and truly enjoy their life without constant fear or the stress. So here's the question. If you had a chance, would you stay or you try to change things from within or start a new chapter somewhere else, where you could truly feel yourself, be safe, and at peace? You can share your thoughts in the comment section below. Maybe your stories are a mirror reflecting how we are living in our life today. And right now it's time to say goodbye because it's the end of our video today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and see you